No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. And today I'm bringing you the oddest couple that you've ever seen on this podcast, but yet they're actually completely intertwined, and we'll establish why that is the case. But we have today legendary producer, important architect of the Detroit sound that has been blossoming over the last, 10, 15 years. And in addition to that, his newest protege, Clare, who I don't want to try to pronounce the last name. How do I say it?
Siobhan.
Siobhan.
Yep.
It's very misleading because of the way it's spelled.
Yeah, you could say that. It's Irish.
And you know what also I discovered while I was looking into your catalog is that there's a very, very well-known YouTuber who's married to a Pokemon Go YouTuber that I used to watch when the game first came out with the exact same name as you.
Well, I have a feeling, and I don't know this for a fact, but I have a feeling we're both named after where our families are from, and we could potentially have a connection because I'm named after County Clare in Ireland.
Oh, okay.
Where my family still has a dairy farm.
Uh-huh.
And she could potentially be from the same area. I don't know, but that's just it's possible.
That would be insane. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Wait, okay. So before we get into each of your individual stories, which I think really need to be addressed, how did you guys come together? How did you discover her talent?
I got a homeboy named Pistol Atkins. Okay. And we come from like back in the day we was doing a lot of music together. Mm-hmm. He's like a real good friend. And he hit me up like, I got to show you something. And I was watching it, and while I was watching it, I thought it was like a skit or something. I didn't even think it was real. Mm. And then when she got to rapping, I was like, nah, she's serious as f-. And I was like, I want in instantly. Mm.
Damn. So you saw beyond the sort of viral meme potential, and you thought like, no, she really got it.
Yeah. It was actually so good to me. I probably thought she was already like signed or something.
Right.
So when I found out she was still independent, I just wanted to be a part of it.
That's dope. Have you actually signed any artists over the years? Obviously you've been tied to and worked with a ton of important artists over the years, but have you ever really had somebody that was really your artist?
None whatsoever.
Really?
Yeah.
And has that always been something that you kind of thought about and figured that would be a good way to do more business within the game? Or was that something that this opportunity just made it clear to you, like, no, this is the one?
It sort of is a little bit of both, because I thought about it maybe in the future, but when I seen her, I felt like it was an opportunity that I had to jump on.
Definitely.
And what stood out to me the most is she sounded white.
Right. Because we do have a weird history of white women in hip hop. When you really think about it, it's pretty much like Iggy Azalea, and that's about it.
Yeah.
In terms of established people actually were really able to do numbers. I mean, I got to give it to Lil Debbie and Krayshawn and the whole white girl mob era. But, that was kind of short lived. And it's people tend to forget about it. But Iggy Azalea at one point was really being hyped as if she was the next Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, for sure. So when I say I heard her and she sounded white, it just stood out to me that she was being herself. So I just like authenticity.
Definitely, 100%. So Clare, let's talk about it. You're from Dearborn, which I only ever hear about because it's the most Muslim city in America.
Okay, so you know something.
That's all I know. Because my friends from Detroit over the years have just kind of mentioned that and stuff. And they always talk about if Dearborn is going to vote for Trump or Kamala was a very big deal in the election. Yeah.
No, they love putting Dearborn in the hot seat on the news. That's for sure.
They do. It's very polarizing.
Yeah.
But that's where you grew up originally from a young age?
Yep.
What was it like growing up out there?
Dope.
Yeah.
I love it. Wouldn't want to be from anywhere else.
For people who haven't seen any of your other stuff online, I would describe you as having kind of the most type A go-getter personality that I've ever witnessed from anybody that I've probably ever interviewed.
Thank you.
Just unbelievably motivated, active. You're describing how many jobs you've had. And it's it's what the hell? This sounds like the career of somebody who's 40 and you're super young, but you've just done so many different things in your life.
Yeah, that's accurate. Very accurate.
Right. Where do you think you got that from?
Shit.
Your parents? Are they pretty?
I mean, yeah.
Pretty active and motivated and have you doing tons of activities from a young age, I would assume?
Yeah. But then also where we come from is just kind of a hustle culture. Everyone fucking grinds. Everyone.
She always bringing up shit and she'd be like, I've done this and I've done that. I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. You couldn't have done that. Like flying planes and riding motorcycles and all type of shit, doing stocks and stock trading and shit. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, because you're talking about you went to school for finance, but then you also have worked in real estate and just like really kind of covered a lot of ground. How old are you now?
27.
27. Okay. So you've had a little chunk of time there, like 10 years or so after high school to be able to have all these different career paths. But how would you describe what kind of kid you were throughout your younger days and everything?
Ooh, that's hard to say because I haven't really thought about that. I mean, I'm the same person I am now than I was then. I haven't changed. I was hustling as a kid too. Like that was just something that I was doing. When I was a kid, I would like do yard work for all my neighbors, and I would like knock on everyone's door, like, let me do some yard work. Like, I was just always on my boss shit.
Yeah, people don't know. My dad had me like running a whole little fake lawn mowing business.
Fake? Like you weren't actually mowing lawns?
I would really do it, but I'd be like, hanging up signs with like a fake name for like whatever, like, like acting like you have like an actual business, but then it's just me. I'm like a 13-year-old kid mowing lawns.
No, that's real.
Yeah.
That's not fake.
Well,
if you're actually mowing them, that's real.
I would just say that like the flyers that we would hang up at the local corner store made it seem like a little bit more
like
of an official operation.
Come out.
Yeah.
Little Adam.
And it's a little kid.
Little kid who had to like literally push the lawnmower like a mile or two to get to the lawn.
And then once you get there, they can't say no to you.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you f it up, which is typically what would happen with me. I would just do like a subpar job and not get invited back. But okay, so did you do super good in school? What were your grades like?
4.0 always.
Always?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Did that take a ton of effort, or were you someone who kind of effortlessly did well in school?
Combination of both. It didn't take a ton of effort until I went to Wayne State, and I'm not gonna lie, Wayne State ended up kicking my ass a little bit, but I still ended up like with a very high GPA because I was just, and that's something I think I tried too hard. Like grades don't really matter in the real world, but whatever. Lesson learned.
Do you think you tried too hard? But I mean, having the 4.0, I mean, I don't know if you had that.
But what's the point?
I mean, I don't know. I didn't really pursue higher education, so I would have a hard time answering that.
Yeah. My last grade complete is like the 8th grade.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I made it through high school, and I did do like a year and a half of college, but it just didn't really click with me. I had too many outside interests that I was way too into, and the whole school thing just was really like the 4th most important thing to me. But okay, wait, what was your earliest introduction to hip hop? Earliest memories?
Well, I was really heavily influenced by Detroit hip hop.
So from early on, you were interested in that whole scene and everything?
Yeah, because my mom was always pretty tapped in. And I would say the earliest memory I have was before we had cable. I think it was on one of the public broadcasting channels. They had a Detroit dance party where the underground rappers would come on TV and be in a dance circle, like rapping their shit, and they'd be hyping each other up on TV on like channel 7 or 6 or whatever it was, and then we would be in our living room doing the same shit, like in a dance circle, hyping each other up, listening to the new underground Detroit rap.
Wow, that's dope.
Yeah,
because I saw a clip where your mom said that you were a huge T Grizzly fan, and that only now does she realize that was like you were rapping along to First Day Out, and that was like, your introduction. Was that formative for you, or was that a little later on?
I mean, that wasn't like the first time I've ever heard Detroit rap. That was just like, I'm not gonna lie, that point in time when that song came out, and he could probably speak on that better than I can, but that was a transitionary period in the music culture.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, like I had friends from Michigan who would be trying to put me on to a bunch of Detroit rap and stuff, and they'd always be playing Band Gang around me and stuff, and all like, this is cool. But then T Grizzly and that song in particular was really when like me and everybody around us, like, because I was mostly listening to Atlanta and Chicago stuff, but like all of a sudden it was like, oh, okay, now we get it. There's like a blueprint for why this sound is going to be huge, which elephant in the room, this man right here produced it.
Yeah, and then after that, not just T Grizzly, but there were many other artists who kind of took off after that. And Detroit music is something different today, now versus then before that song.
Yeah, it really was like a seismic shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fair statement.
Yeah. Did that feel like that? Or like how much success did you have as a producer before that song?
Before that, it was just like local shit.
Right.
It was just local shit. And I worked with a lot of people, like good people, and got to a point where I was just like, okay, we're never gonna get on as far as the city. I had moved to Atlanta for a little while. They was not fucking with the sound at all. But it was like Detroit got to a point where we started being fans of our own music. And that was good enough for me. So when we first did First Day Out and I seen the video, I was like, damn, this is gonna blow up in Detroit. That's
And
all
it
I
did,
thought.
like immediately.
Yeah.
Because I saw you saying that like T Grizzly, you went to the mall with him like the day it came out or the next day, and he was already having tons of people running up on him.
The next day he was signing autographs.
Yeah, which is crazy.
My boy Joseph, he put it up on his platform and he called me. He was like, what's the biggest song you ever did? And I'm like, I don't know. I started naming a few songs. On a Cloud by Nisha Lachey. He's like, listen, this is the biggest song you ever did. And the next day, me and T went to the mall and he was signing autographs.
Crazy. And he got signed right after that. Did that song completely change your life in terms of
Definitely.
like even just financially? Like I would
Definitely.
assume that the money from that song alone was probably like a very game changing moment.
Yeah, and even just people like paying more and buying more beats. Like, it changed everything for not just me and T, but for a lot of people because everybody started going up.
Because before that, had you had some like self doubt of thinking like, damn, I gotta just change up my style production wise to like fit in with what's cool right now? But you didn't
like
want
I
to.
said,
You wanted to stick to your guns.
We started being fans of our own shit, and that was good enough for me.
Right. Because, okay, how deep does your underground Detroit fandom go? Because I know you were a big Esham fan at one point.
Yeah, what you know about Esham?
I mean, I just know him as an ICP affiliate. You know, I got into ICP in like 97 with everybody else my age. But I know that there was that whole sort of weird
Like, a lot of
rap
my,
scene.
like style, as far as like rap and beats, came from like listening to a lot of Esham. Like he had like some real wicked music. Like we used to be down there possessed listening to his music. We used to listen to his music before we went out to hit licks and shit.
Really?
Yeah, like
Just that
hype
dark
yourself up.
music.
Yeah.
That, what they call it? Horrorcore.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a whole era of that. Really, it was like a lot of shit like that. When you look back at like old 3-6 Mafia, ICP, like before, like a lot of artists who like really didn't get any kind of love from the major labels, but had like their own kind of scene.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Even like some groups from like New York was doing like horrorcore.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like a strange time. Oh no, Necro was a big horrorcore dude.
Yeah.
Man, I interviewed him and then we fell out because he tried to get me to post a music, or like a cartoon that he had made about not liking 6ix9ine. I told him, no, you got to pay. That was it. We were never cool again after that. But, you know, it happens. But okay, so that song, I mean, the biggest thing that stands out to me about it was just like the beats, like relatively fast compared to a lot of stuff that was probably going on at the time, which I feel like is a big factor in the new Detroit sound.
Well, that was like a regular sound in Detroit, like that tempo.
Right.
Yeah. So when he first came to the studio, he rapped it with no beat. He had the whole song already complete. And I thought when I heard it that it was a masterpiece. So I just had to come up with a beat that was good enough for the song.
Right. I've never heard of that. Like somebody recording with no beat, like not even drums or anything?
No, he didn't record it. He just rapped it.
Oh, okay. So he just rapped it to you. And then you made a beat for him to rap it over.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's crazy.
So like I was back and forth from Atlanta to Detroit in the process of moving back. And his auntie called me and she was like, you know, I have a nephew that's getting out of jail and he's got a bunch of songs that he don't have beats to. Can you make beats around songs? And I'm like, that's my specialty.
How'd that become your specialty?
Well, a lot of times people just will have raps with no beats. Or if you rap it to me, and like if you have like a start of a rap, I could just picture a beat in my mind that goes with it. Which I still do now a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
So like you'll have somebody rap a cappella in front of you and then you can just kind of figure out where the beat should be going from there. Yeah. Damn, I've never actually witnessed that. That's pretty interesting though. You have any other?
Me and T still do that all the time.
Really?
Like now we're not together so much, but he'll send me like voice notes and I just listen to it and I just work on the beat. I probably got voice notes in my phone now from songs that's on his new album.
Really? When you met T Grizzly, what was the introduction like? Because he had just done a bunch of time prior to that.
Yeah.
And like, how did you guys get introduced?
So his auntie called me, and she believed in him, and she was like, I want some beats for my nephew. But prior to that, he had a song that was like big on the streets called Quick. It was him, Rudy, and Peasy. It was on one of Peasy's albums.
Oh, wow.
And his verse on that song was phenomenal. And I remember asking somebody about him, like, damn, where this at? And they like, man, he locked up. He through. He probably never getting out. That's how they played it. So he was calling himself All-Star Ball Hard T then. So when he got out, he was calling himself T Grizzly, and I didn't even put 2 and 2 together to know that it was the same artist. But we had met before. He tells me, I don't remember, but he says Peasy brought him to my studio. And he said, he described a gun I had on the counter. So I knew he wasn't lying.
Wow, that's hilarious. But, okay, after that song blew up, like, were you guys inseparable for a while, like working on music together?
For a while, I felt like he struggled on other people's beats or just recording with other people.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. What, just because they didn't have that sound?
He was just like used to working with me. Like we had like a real good chemistry. But after a while, he kind of like started to get it to where he could get in the studio with whoever and do his thing. But for a minute, it was like we had to be together. Like his auntie would be like, where are you at? You got to get out of town. You need to be here.
Right.
We were like inseparable for a little while.
And did you really feel like nobody was interested in your beats, and then all of a sudden people were just down to get on beats that sounded nothing like anything they'd ever rapped on before? For
sure, because like when I would be able to get around artists, like say if it was like Yo Gotti, I'd be like, okay, I gotta have some Yo Gotti type beats, or I gotta have some Atlanta beats or some LA beats. But then after a while, it's like when I got in the studio with artists, all they wanted to hear was Detroit shit. I remember me and T, we were in the studio with Lil Yachty, and it's like big producers in there, and they playing these beats, and shit's crazy. I'm hearing crazy shit. I'm like, man, he ain't gonna like my shit. And as soon as I play one beat, he like, that's it, load it up. And then they did D to the A.
Yeah, because I mean, some artists are like extremely stuck in a box in terms of what beats they can get on. And then somebody like Yachty, I would say, is probably one of the most open-minded artists I've seen, where he's just willing to f with infinite different styles.
Yeah, he was already, he's one dude who was like already a fan of the sound, because he used to listen to Pablo Skywalker.
And he did a whole album.
He did at a certain point, which is probably pretty big for a lot of those guys at the time.
Yeah, he with this for real.
For sure. Yeah, he like embedded himself into that whole scene for a period of time. But okay, so you mentioned like Yo Gotti's, like names like that start calling, and they want to get in the studio with you, like the biggest names in the game, pretty much.
Well, like Gotti was already kind of like a friend. We had been in the studio for a few times. I had maybe like 2 placements with Yo Gotti. So he with me, but it would always be like Yo Gotti type beats.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. And so then all of a sudden you find yourself in a position where you don't really have to compromise the stuff that you were doing.
Exactly.
Damn.
I could just play my shit.
No, that's crazy. Okay. So after that though, like how did life change? Like, are you all of a sudden just everything's different? Like you're just kind of traveling around. You have like infinite more opportunities for you and
traveling
everything?
Around, getting placements with big artists, being able to put more Detroit artists on. Cause like when Doug first got out, he came to me too. 42 Twin brought him to me.
So you were a big part of that early on. Like, were there any notable songs early on that you produced for him?
Dog Food.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I told Gotti to sign Doug.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he see the vision from the beginning?
I think he was already interested, and me and him already had a relationship. So he hit me up when he came into town. He's like, "Yo, who's hot?" And I'm like naming everybody who I thought was hot, and he's like, "Just pick one. Who would you put the house on?"
Right.
And it was Doug.
Damn, no, that's dope. as far as like I feel like a big thing that happens in the production world is that somebody comes out with a new style and it's like almost instantly everybody just starts biting it. Everybody's got their own beats that
Man, I be hearing beats. I don't know if I made them or not.
But did you have that experience? Like, how long did it take? Was it like a week, or is it like a couple months, or like all of a sudden you just?
It was like, it felt like a week.
Really? That's crazy. Because I mean, like, rappers bite each other's style, but there's something about a rapper's voice that's like kind of hard to imitate. Whereas with the beats, it's like, you know, anybody can just kind of look at the beat and just figure out how to recreate something.
Like from a lot of guys from like overseas, like in different countries, and they sound just like my shit, just like Detroit shit, just like Michigan shit.
Right. Damn. No, yeah, for sure. But did you feel like you had to then like kind of innovate and like change up your style, or not keep making the same stuff?
Was, around the time first day out like blew up, I just kind of just like went crazy in my style to the point where I knew people would associate the Detroit, Michigan sound with me. So I just flooded it. Now I'm just on to the next.
For sure. Where did you get the name Helluva? You're just a hell of a guy.
Like that's what it stands for,
right?
For sure. But it was like a neighbor who was like an auntie to me.
Really?
It's some old song called Helluva. She used to sing it every time she seen me.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Auntie sister.
That's dope. Okay, so Claire, just to fit this all back together, at what point did it even occur to you, like, maybe I could rap, maybe I can make music? Was there any thought of that early on, or is that like the last couple of years?
Well, so you're kind of leading into my most asked question, which is like, why did I start rapping? How did I get into it?
I think everybody should rap. So I'm not judgmental at all.
I like that perspective.
Yeah. Definitely no gatekeeping here. No like, oh, you're a white girl, so you shouldn't rap. No, I think we got to open up rap. The more the merrier. That's
not even what I interpreted it by when you said everyone should rap. I mean, in Detroit, we've got the teachers rapping. We've got everybody. I mean, everybody in Detroit raps.
Because I'm going to be real with you, like, artists like BFB and Rio and like that like me even like getting on songs and rapping with my friends from time to time, very much influenced by a lot of the stuff in Detroit, because it's like there's just such an emphasis placed on being witty and funny and having a good time, and it's very approachable, as opposed to like, you know, if your idea of like rap is like Kendrick Lamar and he's this great artist and everything is so you know, highbrow, it's like that's kind of intimidating. Whereas like I listen to Rio the Young OG and I'm like, oh, okay, this is all about just saying some funny shit, making your homies laugh while you're in the studio, having a good time. Okay, I got it. Like,
well, they're up in Flint, so that's a little bit different, but same.
Now you're gatekeeping. Dude, I'm not from over there. I don't know. No, but everybody always says that. So, okay, break down the difference between Flint and Detroit sound-wise for the people out there.
I feel like Flint flows don't really have a hook.
True.
Yeah.
Largely, yeah.
And their beats are a little bit more based out, trapped out, a little bit grittier.
Yeah.
Detroit beats are a little bit more melodic.
Okay.
But it's like they come from each other, though.
Yeah.
Right. No, I remember, like, speaking of that Lil Yachty Detroit album, I just remember like listening to that the whole way through and just being like very bored with the production by the end of it, because that steel drum sound was like, it just hit so hard when it first came out, and then it just kind of started to grate at my ears after a while, to be totally honest.
To me, Flint beats are like the easiest beats to just talk shit on.
Exactly, yeah.
So, and stay barred up too.
I wanted to kind of like launch her off with like a one mic. I'm like, we're gonna do a one mic, and I got a producer that I work with called Wayne, and he's from Grand Rapids, but he's like super good at the Flint style. So I'm like, man, send me a Flint beat, man. I'm gonna tell Claire to write to it, because it's just like the Flint beats just go on it.
Definitely. So okay, how did you start conceiving of the idea to actually rap?
Well, it's kind of a long story.
We're here for it. Yeah.
Okay. So when my freshman year of college, I went down to school in Florida. I was in West Palm Beach. I went to the Northwood down there, like as it was getting bought out. And my friends down there, they were all rappers. And they're still rappers today. They don't necessarily drop any music. They mostly really just make music for the group chat and for the love of it. And so they made a booth out of the coat closet in the dorms. And my one friend was like, you should be a rapper. Like, you should get on the mic and rap. And I was 17. I'm glad I didn't, because I feel like I needed to live more life in order to figure out what I wanted to say and figure out like myself. And I probably wouldn't have been that good at that age either, but he planted the seed in my head that like if I were to rap, like my friends were here for it and here to support me. So years later, I was going to AA for an alcohol problem.
Really?
Yeah.
How bad you get?
Pretty bad.
Really?
Yeah, I was an alcoholic really since I was like a kid.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd you even discover it?
Discover alcohol?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, where I'm from, and it's just so normalized in West Dearborn.
But you just had friends from high school that you were drinking with and stuff?
I can't even say that it was just like friends, because it's like, I mean, I come from a big Irish Catholic family, so it's like, it's just so normalized where I come from. So it's easy to get caught up in that.
Were you like a party drunk, or are you the kind of person who was like sneaking shots all day to make it through the day, just kind of keeping that buzz going?
Both.
Okay.
But it was getting more and more serious as I was like in my 20s, and it had been going on for a long time. I was hospitalized a couple times for like my organs shutting down and shit. It was pretty serious.
Oh shit, that sounds rough.
Yeah, so I felt like, finally made it to LA. I finally made it to AA. And that was a miracle, because I never thought I would actually make it to AA. But then as I was actually getting sober, which I never thought I would actually do, I knew myself well enough to know that I couldn't stay sober just like sitting at home and watching TV. Like I couldn't just like sit around and stare at the walls and think that was going to work.
An idle mind is the devil's playground.
Yeah. And
That shit is so true.
yeah.
No, for sure.
And us alcoholics, I've done like extensive research on this problem. And it's like us alcoholics, we do crave a certain level of intensity, and we all have that in common. So my body was in pretty rough shape because of the alcoholism. So I couldn't go back to bodybuilding, which is what I was into before. I just felt like it was too, like, that would be too much, putting too much pressure on myself when I was like not ready to do that.
That is funny you say that, because over the years, I've always been kind of like a casual bodybuilding fan, or like just interested in weightlifting. And that's one thing I was really shocked by, is to find out that like some of the greatest bodybuilders of all time were also managing alcoholism at the same time, which is kind of crazy to think that you're like taking in an extra, 1,000 calories worth of alcohol throughout the day. And then meanwhile, you're like ripped.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, you just hit the nail on the head. Like, that's why my body was in rough shape.
Most people would think that would be impossible, because it's like, number one thing that I'm going to tell you if you want to get in shape is like stop drinking, because you're taking in a shitload of extra calories for no reason.
And it's poison. Yeah. That part. Yeah. So my body was in rough shape. I felt like that wasn't a safe thing to put all my effort into, because I feel like that would be too dangerous. Like I would probably end up drinking again if I got frustrated off that.
Because bodybuilding itself is kind of an addiction. It's like
1,000%.
It's like an addiction that you kind of have to manage. It's like
1,000%.
positive, but it's also like, did you take it to an extreme degree where it's kind of negative, or?
No, because I was never competing.
Okay.
So it was really recreational, and I wasn't like that serious about it. I was just like with my girlfriends going to the gym, doing pull-ups, push-ups, lifting as heavy as I could, going up every week. Like it was that, but I was definitely getting like the endorphins, whatever, from that. Like I was loving it.
Okay.
For sure.
And so you didn't have a job at this time when you were?
No, I always had a job. Come on, Adam.
So you're quitting alcohol, but you're like worried about just like sitting on the couch all day. But you did have a job during all that.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I was working from home. This is during the pandemic. So yeah, which is kind of like a gateway into drinking, because I'm working from home, so no one really knew. Like,
it just freaks me out, because it's like I just do interviews constantly where the pandemic is just this huge X factor in everybody's life.
Yeah.
Like almost every OnlyFans girl that I have a conversation with, it's like, and then the pandemic hits, and then it's like their whole life changes in some way.
Yeah, but I was an alcoholic before then. Like that didn't make me an alcoholic. I already was. Right.
But it, probably opened you up to have more time to be able to drink and whatnot, right?
Potentially, I think, yeah.
Okay.
So at that time, my college friends from Florida, they kind of pushed me to go to AA. So I did it. And then I was getting sober. And then they're like, I think it was my idea to start rapping. Because I figured like I have to channel all of this extra energy that I have into something. And they were already there supporting me with getting sober. So then they're like, why don't you come down to Florida, get in the studio? And it took me a couple months to make it down there. But in the meantime, I wouldn't leave my house for months. I got sober in like August of 2022. I like for three or 4 months, like December, I finally got into the studio in Florida. In the meantime, I wrote like 73 pages of lyrics in my Google Doc.
Wow.
I was just like going through like Detroit type beats, Flint type beats. And like, I was just obsessed.
And that just became your new addiction to replace alcoholism with?
Pretty much.
Definitely.
And when I started rapping, it was never like, oh, I'm going to become, it was never that. It was like a game I was playing with myself of like, let me make this verse, let me make the wordplay harder, let me go harder on the pattern, let me teach myself something. Like I was really just trying to compete with myself. And during that time, because lyrics was never really my problem, like the wordplay and stuff, like that was, that part I feel like came naturally, but the patterns,
fitting the beat appropriately is always a lot harder than actually just writing some lyrics
and then like excelling in that. That's where I was listening to a lot of Ray at that time, and if you've listened to Babyface Ray, you know that his patterns are superior, like the way that he's in and out of the beat. Like I've never heard anyone rap like him. So I was listening to his songs, rewriting the lyrics with his same pattern, and that's how I taught myself like how to switch up and like how to write music for real.
Yeah, and it's like someone like Babyface Ray is somebody that like somebody who's not really paying attention might like write it off as being sort of simplistic, but actually his flows are very advanced. And he's been rapping for forever, you know. Obviously that like
I met Ray when he was 15.
Right. Yeah, he's
like one of the greatest rappers I heard then.
Yeah.
Just blowing up over the last couple of years or whatever. But like when you really go back, and so many people from Detroit too, that's why it's kind of heartwarming, because you're so used to seeing people like blow up when they're, you know, 18 or whatever. But seeing like Icewear and Rio and Peasy and all these dudes who have just been doing it forever and found success later on.
Grow up.
Yeah, 100%. But okay, so you got all these lyrics written down, and then what do you end up doing?
I didn't record that. Yeah. That was just like the starting point to keep writing more. Like that was the game. Just like, don't stop writing. Like I used to go to Belle Isle with my friends, and we would put on a beat and just smoke a blunt and freestyle. That was like, I wrote some of my best shit at Belle Isle.
So you gave up alcohol, but you didn't have to give up weed?
I ended up giving up weed, but that came later. Okay. It was one step at a time.
Right. I mean, even you just saying that kind of reminds me of what they always say about Eminem, is that he's like the most committed lyricist imaginable, that he just sits and writes in his notebook constantly. And I think a part of that is that he's got that addict personality. And granted, he defeated that a long time ago, but you know, I just always hear that he has like a very regimented lifestyle in terms of being in the studio and writing lyrics and stuff like that. Like it clearly is taking some kind of role in his life that's beyond just the need to have lyrics. You know, it's like this is like taking the place of something destructive that he might be doing otherwise. Definitely. So, okay, when do you start recording?
December of 2022 was my first ever studio session, and I didn't end up dropping anything from that studio session. I really for real just learned how to like punch.
Right.
And that was like the basics, because I was learning the basics. And then after that, I started working on an album. Like the beginning of 2023 is when I started working on an album. I recorded Savage, which is, I'm sure you've seen that. It's the song that I have with Taylor Bentley.
Yep.
So I recorded, I made my part of the song first, and then her manager hit me up and suggested that I check her out. And I did, and I was very impressed with her bars and her wordplay. And I reached out back. I was like, yeah, let's get in the studio together. And I told her, I said, I have this album that's done. You can hop on any song. And I had filmed a video of me rapping that in the MGM parking garage that had gone viral on like V Live Keys and some Detroit hip hop pages. And she said she wanted to hop on that one. And I think she might have already had her verse written, and we got in the studio. She laid it down right on the spot. I was very impressed, and that song was like a hit off rip.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. So
Yeah.
how did that kind of change everything for you? Just getting that additional attention?
Well, it's not about the attention. It's like, as soon as I finished that song, me and Bentley, we had great chemistry in the studio, which was like a jumping off point to us performing that song, having great chemistry on stage too, and like blossoming as artists together. But as soon as I recorded that song, I went straight to my parents' house, and I remember sitting in I played that song out of my car speakers for both of my parents in their driveway, and my parents are like, damn, this is a really good song. Like, after it had been mixed and mastered and she had put her verse on it, it just became like a completely different song than it was in the first place. So it's like, artistically, that was like a moment for me of feeling like, wow, like this really came together.
Definitely. How'd your parents feel about all this? Like, were they behind you in terms of quitting alcohol?
Hell yeah. Because
Okay.
like I said, I was drinking since I was a kid.
Right.
And alcoholism is a huge problem in my family, like huge. So that was part of what motivated me to get sober, was like, I saw what my future would look like, and it's not good.
Yeah.
So they're super supportive of me today, not just because they both love Detroit rap. They both love my music. They're constantly quoting my songs all the time. Like, they really do love it. But then also they're super proud of me to see me change like a miserable situation into something that's more positive.
Right. Definitely.
They're like at every video shoot.
Yeah.
My mom's at studio sessions, suggesting bars and shit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, when I was watching your mom talk in the video that I watched of you, I was just thinking, I'm like, this is just such a mom. Like, at what point does a young person become a mom? Because your mom just feels like my mom's a mom.
Yeah.
Like, almost impossible to imagine her as like a young girl. You know, it's like, I was just thinking that with your mom. I'm like, damn, like, where does this transition happen? Like, when am I going to become that kind of dad where it's just so obvious that I'm just in no way connected to that younger version of myself? I don't know. But shout out to your mom. She seems great.
Thank you.
Was it okay? So you're getting into the game, you're having stuff go viral, but then I'm assuming that there's probably a lot of hate coming your way too. Is that kind of weird for you as somebody who hasn't really been a public person so much before that?
No. I can't say I wasn't a public person before that, because I come from like a performing arts background as well. Just like just regular stuff like singing in the church choir and stuff. Not that you would get hate for that, but it's like, I'm used to putting myself out there. I'm not shy. And I feel, I guess that part never really affected me or bothered me, because I feel very sure of who I am, and I don't look for the internet to tell me who I am. And it's like, if only y'all really knew why I was really rapping for real. Like, it means something different to me than doing it for the internet. Like,
well, because there's probably a lot of people making assumptions. They think you're an industry plant. They think you're, not really sincerely into this, that this is some kind of joke or whatever.
Yeah. And I think that's another misunderstanding, is I think like, I think I haven't expressed that I really do have a lot of respect for the Detroit culture, Detroit rappers, like the artists who inspired me. Because I skipped a portion of the story from when I was a kid. As soon as I was old enough to drive, I would go to every hip hop concert downtown, like with my little brother, and I'd be fucking in the front row rapping every word to their shit. Like, I know for a fact some of my favorite artists have seen me in the front row rapping like every word to their songs when I was a little bit younger.
She know every word to so many fucking songs. I just be like, what the f-? She know words to some of my old songs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I was way better at remembering the lyrics of songs in my younger days, whereas now it's like I got to hear a song like dozens of times before I could like rap a verse even close to the actual verse. And I feel like it's partially because there was just so much less music when I was younger. It's just like you had to buy a CD, you're just not going to get that many CDs per month, versus like now, even a song I really like, I might only listen to it 4 or 5 times before I kind of forget to keep listening to it. But
everybody's attention span is shorter.
Yeah, that's true.
But I wonder how much of it is just now versus back then, and the amount of information that you're taking in versus like, was my 12-year-old brain just like tailored to be able to remember lyrics better? But what artists do you see during that time period that were big for you?
Shout out Cash Doll. I mean, she's like...
Shout out Cash Doll.
Yeah, she definitely Cash Doll.
She's the first lady of female rap from Detroit, I would assume.
I would say her and Dej Loaf. I wouldn't say it's just Cash Doll. I'd say it's both of them, but they don't make the same kind of music. So I would go see Cash Doll frequently. I would go see Sada Baby like every chance I could.
Shout out
I
Sada.
would go see Ray in concert. I was catching a vibe to those 3 artists. Those are probably my top favorite artists to see.
What happened to Dej Love? Where's she at?
She just dropped an album.
Oh, she did? Okay.
Yeah, and it's really good. You should actually listen to it.
I should listen to it. Why did we all stop paying attention to her at a certain point, though? I don't know.
I think she like took a break, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, people's attention spans are short. So when you stop dropping music for a while, people they'll like they'll get off you for a minute. You got to come in.
When she first came out with that voice and everything, like you couldn't have told me that she wasn't going to be gigantic. I thought she was about to be the biggest.
Adam, she's still fresh.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Look,
I like that
when I
attitude.
used to hear about her, when I heard about her, I'm hearing about this new artist. As soon as I heard it, I knew it had to be her because it sounded so different.
Yeah. No, definitely.
She definitely put on for the city.
Yeah.
100%. But, okay, like, we're kind of like not mentioning it, but like the racial component of it or whatever. It's like, and in addition to being a woman, I mean, this is just like kind of shocking to a lot of people. They've probably never seen a white woman rapping before. Was that kind of like, did you have a game plan in terms of like approaching that, or was it just like whatever? I just don't.
How do you have a game plan for approaching that? Like, you can't really calculate something like that. Like, no, what it really was once I made my album, I was rapping on the internet. So then I started posting. My formula was like, I would rap a 16, film a video to a 16, and that just so happened to be a minute long at content, which is what the short form TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Instagram, whatever, they were all favoring that style. So I was just rapping 16s like every day on the internet. And
but you'd shoot a video for just that and not make it a whole song?
But it wasn't like high production. It was like my friend would come out to a park with me with their iPhone and I'd be rapping on a sunny day. And that's like just catching a vibe, and that was it. So like I was really having a ball. Like I still am. Like that's what it is. Like I'm just having fun.
So at what point does he discover you? How did that come together?
So I met Pistol Atkins at Burn Bar and Grill. I think that's on Woodward, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So I met him at Burn Bar and Grill. Pistol. So I said to him, I said, I like your glasses. And he's like, I've been in your DMs trying to hit you up and you haven't responded to me. And then he said, check me out. So I looked at his page and he offered for me to come to his studio and record a song. He has a studio in his basement. I was paying for studio time and he offered me free studio time. And I'm like, bet I'm going to pull up and see what this guy's about, because he said he wants to record making me a song. So I go over to Pistol's house. We record a song that it's on Apple Music today. It's called Money Date. I think that beat, it was a YouTube beat. I wrote that song on the spot. It was a Skilla type beat. I wrote that song on the spot, recorded it on the spot in the same day. I was there for a couple hours. After we recorded that, I think that proved me to Pistol, like, oh shit, like she really just wrote the song on the spot. It's fire. We recorded it on the spot. Like it turned out really good.
And that's probably when he called me.
That's probably when he called Helluva.
Just figured that you needed somebody like him in your corner?
Well, at that point, I think he was, I mean, I can't speak on behalf of him, but I think that he was like excited to keep making more music. I think that's how we all felt.
So like for Detroit, a lot of people goes like, before people start getting on, it wasn't to like get on, it was like to get to me. It was like people's goal in Detroit, a lot of people.
Definitely.
So one of the things that I was impressed with by her, like that she's herself. She's a white rapper that sounds white, because a lot of the white rappers, they sound like they have a black scent, or people judge how good they are by how black they sound.
Exactly,
like a lot of people I play her music for, and it's like, damn, this shit's fire, but she just sounds so white.
Right.
And I'm like, she sound like herself. This is how she talk. Another thing that I was impressed with by her is she was paying for her own shit. So anybody that's willing to invest in their self, I know they take their shit serious, because most people just want you to take all your money and invest it into them, and they want to invest it into themselves.
I mean, Detroit is kind of like the home of the white rappers in a way. It's like, even if it's just ICP and Eminem, I mean, that's like throughout the history of LA, who's the relevant white rappers? I'm pretty sure there's zero. close to zero.
I was trying
Kind of say the same thing in New York. Like, who's white that really like made a big impact? I mean, there's just so few white rappers that have really made an impact in general that it's like kind of hard to even think about it. It's kind of
well, I didn't start rapping because I'm white. Like, it just happened to be that I was having a lot of fun, and I felt like I got a lot of positive feedback from my city, and that was the most important to me the whole time.
I think Detroit is kind of like a real diverse city too.
It is. Yeah.
Like, we got a lot of like white people that just with black people that are just into all type of shit. Like
Not just white people, but everybody.
Yeah. Like Latinos, like Arabs, like Chaldeans, like we all with each other.
Yeah.
And you guys have a lot of multicultural sort of areas. LA kind of lacks that.
Yeah, like I'm from like Southwest Detroit, which is like next door to Dearborn. So I'm always around like every kind of race.
Yeah, LA is like, you got Beverly Hills and Compton, and they're like not that far apart, but the racial demographics are like absolutely polar opposites. And like people from one area never have any reason to go to the other ones besides just when you're on the highway and you see the sign for one or whatever. It's like the total opposite of New York, where I lived in Brooklyn for a long time, and it's like, you know, I'm a white BMX kid at the time, and I'm like, you know, there's like a Puerto Rican block next door to my block. There's hipster blocks, there's Jewish blocks, total black areas, etc. It's like very New York's like a super melting pot, but I mean Detroit's got its own unique flavor as well. Okay, so then you guys tap in, and what was the chemistry like right away?
Man, the first song we made together, we still haven't dropped yet, but off rip.
It's like my favorite song still.
Off rip. Can I want to talk about how we made that song.
Go ahead.
So I'd been Pistol's saying, all right, we're going to get in the studio with Helluva. I went to the club with Pistol and Helluva a couple times. So we're like feeling the vibes out. Then now we're getting ready to go in the studio. So I'm brushing up on my pen game. Like, let's fucking go. Like, let's fucking go. So I'm working on my pen game like crazy. And I'm like getting real on top of my shit. So we get in the studio and he's going through, I think it's called a loop kit when you're going through different loops. And he told me to pick a loop that I like. And he played this one guitar loop. And I said, go back to that one. And he went back to it. And then I think within a minute, I was like, all right, I got the hook. And because I was showing off at that point, like, let's fucking go. So then I had the hook. The hook is fire. It's like completely different than any of my other shit. It's a singing hook. It's on some pop type shit. I'm going to drop the video for that one very soon. But then the wordplay on the verses is also crazy. So it's like some Detroit shit, but it's also like on some...
It's like some pop Detroit shit.
Yeah.
I think I might have sent it to you.
Me?
I DM'd you about her like a lot of times.
Did you?
Yeah.
What the hell? I don't think I've seen that.
I'm like, Adam, you got to check this girl out. I just wanted to get your opinion on her. See what you thought about her.
Oh, shit, you did. I missed it. Damn, I feel guilty. Look at that.
Well, we're here.
We're here now. We made it work, but
you was hoeing me, man.
Damn, that's grimy. I can't be doing that to Helluva. That's fucked up. Damn, okay. Damn, you tried to put me on a while ago. That's fucked up.
Now, the fact that you responded to me, like, ever, just, that kind of fucked me up, because, you know, in Detroit, like, we look at you like the biggest, you know?
You're like probably the most important producer out of Detroit of like the last 10 years, 15 years, right?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Please don't put me on any kind of pedestal. But I appreciate it.
It's no jumper like this. That's what I come to for like all my news and everything.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. You like Flocka?
Flocka, he's like one of the hosts, right?
Yeah. He just came to mind. I was like, I want to test your knowledge.
I ain't really hip to him like that.
Okay, he's a very polarizing figure around this way, but okay.
I like 4 Extra.
4 Extra. See, that's what's crazy is that I go to Chicago. I'm in the O Block. People are asking me about 4 Extra. I'm like, I never heard y'all give a shit about a Crip before, and now all of a sudden,
funny and entertaining.
Yeah, he's just like the personification of a certain type of man that you just don't see every day. Yeah. Free his ass. He's supposed to be out in like a week or so. maybe next week. But damn, all right. So at what point do you guys start having a discussion about what your relationship is going to be in terms of like, did you sign her, or are you just producing a bunch of stuff, or?
Nah, she signed.
Okay, to a label. But did you sign her to like a production type deal beforehand?
Yeah, like a production deal.
And then you started kind of shopping her to labels and stuff?
Not yet. Like the relationships I do have, I just let them hear.
Right.
But the point then is just the point now is to just keep building her up until they come to us.
Right. So
what I'm looking for is probably not like a bunch of money or something. I'm looking for the best career.
Mm-hmm.
A huge, long career for her.
Mm.
That's what I want.
Definitely. What do you feel like you need to get to the next level?
If I'm being completely honest, I feel like I already have everything that I need.
Really?
Yeah, because I've got Pistol Atkins and Helluva.
Uh-huh.
We've been stacking up songs for a year and a half.
We got the music. No,
for sure. For sure.
You're just sitting on a lot of music because you don't have that much stuff out.
Correct.
Right. So a lot of times, like when you get with an artist, it's like after a while you're searching for a hit. I just feel like we got the hits. Everything we work on just be, to me, phenomenal.
Mm.
Like not even the stuff that people have heard yet, but we got songs stacked up like fire.
Mm.
Yeah. And now we're working on videos too.
Are you just kind of like holding off because you want to put out a project that really makes a splash?
Well, some songs I feel like are bigger than her.
Mm.
So just trying to wait for the right timing.
Right. Because that's a problem that a lot of people run into. You drop some music on TikTok and the song blows up, but you don't have the artist properly like attached to the song.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens all the time. I don't think you're going to have a hard time like getting people to pay attention to you though. For sure the attention is kind of like built in just because it's such a rare thing to see a white female rapper that it's like everybody's just going to kind of stand up and pay attention. But then at the same time, it's like you only get an opportunity to be new once.
That's true.
So you kind of have to make like the best impression possible when you do roll your stuff out.
Yeah.
I'm sure this is all stuff that you've put a lot of thought into how you want this to all go.
And I'm new to this. So I'm trying to figure it out as I go along and get as much advice from people that's been in the game that I can.
Right. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's one thing to produce stuff for people. It's another thing to like figure out how you want the whole career to be rolled out. You know, it's like so many pitfalls, so many ways to fuck it up when you're kind of creating this like first impression of an artist for people.
That's why I was sending this shit to you too, because I'm like, maybe he knows something. Maybe he knows something I don't know.
Definitely. I'd be scared to sign a white rapper. They're gonna be like, why? You were just waiting for a white guy this whole time? You never signed a black guy?
That's what they think. So Pistol Atkins says that his DMs are always getting blown up by white people asking them to get signed.
Bro, they send me some of these white rappers. Nah, it's crazy.
Like that's all they see. They think that they're out here just looking for white people who rap. Like,
so that's all it takes.
It's not that.
Well, it's like the talent. Like they only see that I'm white. Like they don't see that I got bars, or I don't know. I think it's funny. Like we get a laugh out of that Pistol's getting hounded in the DMs.
Definitely. Are all these rappers trying to be your boyfriend, or you think they just want to work together?
Honestly, I haven't really had that problem.
Really?
Yeah, because
I wondered that. Like, are you their type necessarily? I don't know.
My coworker asked me that question too. He was like, "Do you have people like he asked that, like, are guys like groupies or something?" And I'm like,
she being modest. Niggas be on her head. Though.
I don't, but they're not. But it's
they're nice about it.
Yeah, I feel like it's very respectful, and I feel like that's because of like all of the people who I'm around. Like, it's just a very respectful environment.
Right. I mean, in the words of Dr. Umar, "Black queens forever, snow bunnies never." He's just talking about dating, not I don't know how much people really take his advice in that regard. Dr. Umar is just like one of my favorite characters on the internet, period. But okay, so I don't know. Have you like actually worked with any artists like so far? Besides, you mentioned the Taylor Bentley girl, but there's all these other rappers that I'm sure that he could open the door for you doing music with. But are you kind of holding off on doing collaborations and whatnot?
I'm not holding off. We got songs
She
stacked
got a
up.
song with Peasy.
Oh yeah, and I seen the BFB collab.
Yeah, I've got a song with Pretty Brea.
Okay.
I've got a song with, who else do I have songs with?
We just sent an open the Skillet today.
Nice.
That one's fire. We recorded that one last night.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's up. In terms of working with BFB, what was that like? He's a clout chaser. I just saw he put "No Jumper Diss" in the title of one of his songs, and then I listened to it and it doesn't say shit. He really got a view out of me right there.
Man, Pac-Man is one of the dopest artists to me.
Yeah, no, he's hilarious. He's not a mailman anymore, because when I interviewed him back in the day, he was like, "No, I'm a mailman. I'm gonna stay a mailman. Like, I'm not quitting this mailman job."
No mailman.
Right? Like, you think at some point the mail or the USPS would be like, "Nah, like you're rapping too much. You can't do this."
Pac-Man is so good. I was a little bit nervous for her. Like, is she gonna be able to keep up with him?
Right? Because he's funny as hell. Definitely. Did you ever? Okay, have you ever gotten help from anybody lyrically?
Oh, that's a good question. I do get help.
Especially being so new, it would be kind of foolish not to.
Of course, but I will say, like, that's my writing game is what I'm the most proud of.
Really?
Yeah. Like, and I feel like that's the part of the process that I feel like I still haven't let people see. Because when I'm writing music, it's always been very private, but no, I really write for real. Like, I really write for real. And that's the part that I take the most seriously. Like, you can always fuck up recording. You can always fuck up on stage. It's fine. But with the pen game, you got to come heavy every time. Like, you always have to make this bar or this song better than the last one.
Everybody don't think like that.
It's serious.
Yeah. A lot of people take the punching in and just like get in the studio and just say literally whatever. Yeah, it's crazy.
But the pen game is the most serious part to me.
But so every verse you write, you already wrote that whole verse, or
What do you mean?
Like, do you write the whole verse out before you start recording it, or is it?
No, I don't. The last time I was freestyling was like when I said I was sitting in the Belle Isle or sitting in the park or sitting in front of one of my friends' houses with the blunt passing around, going over a beat when I first started rapping. Since then, I really haven't freestyled.
It should be complete.
It's writing.
But when you record, do you punch in each bar?
Not necessarily. I punch like 4 at a time, 8 at a time, depending on how it flows. It depends. But yeah, 4 at a time, 8 at a time.
I find that's usually very indicative of somebody who actually knows how to rap.
I don't understand how you can punch 1 bar at a time and have it flow. That's what maybe it's just because I haven't really done that.
I feel like that's what most rappers do.
You're probably right.
Now for sure.
I just haven't seen that.
I come from an era where you had to have your shit down packed before you even go in the fucking booth. And I'm talking about, we didn't believe in punching. Like, we'll rap a 16 and we'll get to the fucking 15 bar, and if we fuck up, we're gonna rap the whole shit all over again.
Really? Yeah. I mean, punching in has got to be like the number one thing that makes it accessible to rap as somebody who's not actually a talented rapper. Like, I don't think I ever would have recorded anything if I hadn't been able to just punch in each bar.
Yeah, it's definitely handed to everybody now.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's not even close to like, and I tell people that who've never been in the studio, I'm like, if you saw what it was actually like for him to record this song, you would look at this completely differently. Like, I remember going to the studio with Rich the Kid in like 2017, leaned out of his mind, and every bar would start out as him just like slurring, just random, like, and then like somehow you'd have to like repeat it like 18 times until it turned into an actual sentence. And as a person, that was like my first time really seeing somebody record, and I was just like beyond
like
shocked.
The quickest person I seen record. Have you ever seen Rio record?
No, maybe in some like vlogs over the years, but
he don't second guess shit.
Really,
he just say something. All right, keep that. Say something. All right, keep that, and that shit is done so quick.
Yeah,
that's what makes it hard, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's what makes Rio.
It's definitely a different. You're gonna say shit that you wouldn't say if you sat there and thought all day.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know who blew my mind was watching the Black Boy Max stream with Baby Tron. And I was like, bro, this dude's just coming up with fire bars over and over and over and like so quickly, like doesn't need any time to think about that shit. It did occur to me that I might be being deceived to a certain extent because maybe he just has all this stuff written down already, but
Nah.
Yeah.
I record with Tron a lot. Like I was like very big and like earlier in Tron's career, like I did one of his first big songs, which is Jesus Shuttlesworth. So I'm always in the studio with Tron. I just be wondering, like, damn, is this motherfucker gonna run out of bars one day? Because he just sit up and do that shit all day long.
Right. No, yeah.
So I use him for like an example for people who say they serious about rapping. I'd be like, well, Tron is somewhere making 10 songs right now.
Right.
He's gonna make 10 songs every day. So if you can at least make a song a day, then I don't want to hear you say you're serious.
Yeah. If you can't make a song a day, I mean, what are you really doing? I mean, because like people don't understand that rapping is like a sport when you actually get into that studio environment. Like when you hear about people talking about rapping with Gucci and just like the pressure of like, if it takes you more than 15 minutes to record this verse, then it's just not happening. And that just like really kind of puts it into perspective. It's like, this is not about being able to make one good verse. This is about being able to be in that environment, competing with all these other dudes who are just as good or better than you.
Like a lot of times, like she'll tell you, I'd be hard on her. Like, are you gonna let somebody outwork you? Get your ass to the studio. And she'd be like, well, I had to work and I had to do that. I'd be like, I don't want to hear that shit.
You record during the day or you do it at night?
Both.
Depending on when I'm free. But what you just said, writing and rapping is like a muscle. Like when you train it, like you train a muscle, you're in your bag. You can do it. If you take a break and you're not going to be in the zone, like you just said, to like be able to compete with yourself.
Yeah. Whenever I try to like make shit up on the spot, I just end up kind of like freezing though. Like I find that for me, I just need to like, if I need to know I'm going to the studio and then I need to think about it for a couple of days beforehand and just write all this stuff in my phone. Like I definitely have like
rap. I didn't even know that. You got shit recorded?
Yeah, you want to see something?
Yeah, right. For sure.
This is my most recent one. I feel like this is my best one. We can get a live reaction here. All right, here we go. You guys tell me. This is me
with the video too.
Me and X4, yeah. What do you think?
I ain't buying it, bro.
You don't think I wrote it?
No,
I swear to God. No. I got a fucking whole verse in my phone.
It makes too much sense, and you rhyming like all your syllables.
That's like, a compliment.
You don't know that like like most of that is me like showing love to the gang that the other dude on the track is from. So I'm like saying all these like references to his hood and shit, which is, you know, kind of proud of.
Man, you like stand over with the booka booka.
That's a double meaning too.
Yeah, you rhyme that with Cooper Troop.
Cooper Trooper, booka booka. Thank you. Okay. And the he gets me. He gets me. Nah, I got some good stuff in here. Oh, this is I'm really proud of this. Something like I took a perk, a Xan, a White Claw, and a couple Valium. Ooh. He got a baby dick like the Nirvana album. You know, yeah. Like, I just always thought it was pretty weird that Nirvana has like this classic album. For some reason, there's like a baby's dick on it.
I seen.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. No, I seen on YouTube they hear him like as a grown man.
Yeah, he tried to sue. He tried to sue Nirvana over this. It was him. Like now he's a grown man. It was like 30 years ago. But it's like the cover is just like a baby swimming, but like you can see his wiener. You know, I don't know. No, yeah, I got some. Now I got to rap. I got to say that line specifically.
That was hard, Paul.
Thanks for that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of over it, but you know, every now and then, if somebody wants to do a song, I just want to be ready. You know, we did a stream the other day where we just like passed the mic around and we were able to record like a song like while we were just sitting doing the podcast.
That's fun.
That was fun. It seemed like it went pretty well. It's like the fact that nobody even has to get up to get in the booth to record. Yeah, it's like really opens it up.
Right. Yeah, that's fun.
Definitely.
Yeah, people ain't been using booths lately.
Yeah, that shit's out, huh?
Yeah.
I remember when I realized that Thug just sits next to the engineer in the chair, just like doing whatever. And I seen Youngboy do the same thing in the studio, just like kind of just sitting right next to him, posted up. Like getting in the booth is just totally old school at this point, I guess.
Well, a rapper connection with the engineer is very important. Cause like I think that's what set me apart from a lot of producers. I'm like really like a song maker. So the closer you are to the engineer and the producer, probably the better shit come out.
Definitely. So what, are you offering feedback as the song is being made? Are you like
Of course.
saying, hey, like we're gonna make this into the hook, we're gonna take this little part and move this around? Okay.
All the time.
Yeah, no, that's important. That's the difference between like a beat maker and a producer.
Yeah.
Which has
You
been
gotta see
kind of
your
lost.
you gotta see your baby through.
Yeah.
My beat is my baby. I gotta make sure you do it right. I gotta see it through.
But the question is like, I'm sure you guys kind of have the relationship because you've been involved since very early on, but you go do a song with a random rapper, you don't necessarily have the rapport to tell them like, hey, let's switch this around, or do you try to just insert yourself regardless?
Nah, it depends on our chemistry. Like me and her are friends, so it's easy. Like she even told me like her mom joked and said she has like a black dad and a white dad.
Really? What's the age difference between him and your dad?
My dad's 59.
59. What are you?
48.
Man, you're putting him on the spot.
Ain't that far apart, yeah. Hey, man. But, okay. So you guys are just kind of working on this look that's coming? Or you think it's going to be like a project or what, like?
We're dropping singles for now.
Okay.
With videos.
Nice.
And we're stacked up. We're finishing up a couple more videos. I'm anticipating dropping a video with Sizzler on the Roof tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. So
I know, exciting,
you're
right?
Going for the NorCal audience.
Well, they've posted, so I've had, I want to say 2 or 3 videos that they posted. You know how they posted in the carousel of like, who's the hottest artist of the week?
Yeah,
they posted me in that a couple times. And so I've been like building my relationship with them for a couple of years. So now we're dropping a video together tomorrow. And I'm excited because it's something I like to change. I like to explore my versatility and show off that I can do different styles of songs. And so the song that I'm going to drop tomorrow is very different.
That's dope. And you're messing with Sizzler. We're going to send you up to Stockton and do a song with UBK J-Bo.
Let's go.
Okay. Yeah. Are you cautious about who you'll do songs with, especially when they have really spicy content? Do you not want to get involved in any gang wars?
I mean...
What if you get on a song with somebody and they're smoking on somebody's dead cousin? What are you going to do? These are the hard decisions in the rap game.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I would be able to see that coming. Like,
no, you don't know. You already record your verse, and then they hop on and they say, "Hey, we smoking Lil Timmy,"
and then they drop it without me even hearing it.
No Lil Tim, but you know, just dissing somebody randomly.
Well, I'll say that hasn't happened to me yet. I don't think.
Okay.
That hasn't happened yet, so we'll handle that when that gets here.
You know what? Like a lot of people that holler at me about doing music with her, I gotta tell her a lot of them like she ain't doing that. She ain't saying that. We ain't talking about that.
For sure. You know, Star Bands from Chicago.
Yeah.
She doesn't allow anybody to use profanity on songs with her.
Interesting.
She's 16, so.
Oh, though that makes sense.
Which is nice because like. As soon as I heard her, I was like, oh, I could play this for my 4-year-old daughter. Yeah. And I played it for her and she loved it. And she actually asked for it by name now. And I would feel a lot less comfortable playing it for her if there was a bunch of profanity and stuff. But she also does say the N-word, which is a word that I'm kind of paranoid about my kid learning to say.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a whole learning curve about that.
Yeah.
Like, you can't say that. She could say it. You can't say it. You know, but that's okay. You think you're ever going to say it?
Who, me?
I just wanted to see you say.
Man, get the out of here, Adam.
I mean, that might show that they're really fucking with you.
That's the clip that they're going to use for clickbait right there.
You did good, though. You're like, what? Scraggy? Okay. Who's your favorite female rappers of all time?
Oh. I don't know. I don't know if I want to go down that list because I'm influenced by so many female rappers and there's so many. Like, man, the past 10, 15, even 20 years, there's been a lot of contribution in female rappers. But I will say I'm most heavily influenced by Detroit music. So, like, if that answers your question, there's a lot of...
You said I'm with the bros.
No, I'm with the girls in my city. Like, the female talent in Detroit... Man.
Really? Who else we need to check out besides Deja Love and Cash Doll?
Everybody. Man, everybody. Like not just the rappers who are on right now in Detroit, but also like the underground rappers. Like there's a whole bunch of female artists who are on fucking fire.
Okay. I'm going to ask ChatGPT. Female rappers from Detroit. Let's see who's calculated as being the most notable. Molly Brazy. Did not know she was from Detroit. Rocky Bad. I remember her.
Yeah, Rocky Bad.
Skilla Baby. You got my man's fucked up. ChatGPT. That is no good.
Okay, I don't trust chat, but no.
Oh, wait. While now identifying as male and rapping under a different persona, Skilla Baby previously rapped under a female identity and was active in the Detroit scene. I'm rejecting this. That sounds fake. But okay.
That's the fakest shit I've ever heard.
What the fuck? I've never, that has to be the most off the wall thing that ChatGPT
Well,
has
at
ever.
least now we can clear it up on the air.
I'm glad I talked to Skilla Baby the other day.
Yeah.
I am 100% sure that you are a man, natural born man. That's crazy. Damn, ChatGPT grimy. But okay, so yeah, the rollout is underway. What else you got going on while you're in LA? You got any artists you're tapping in with or anything?
I don't think we're doing any work here.
We came just for this.
Yeah, for real.
Hell yeah, that's what's up.
Let me ask you this, Adam. 100 Men versus a gorilla.
So I have read the opinions of a bunch of scientists or whatever who work with animals directly. The general consensus that I've seen is that we overrate the strength of a gorilla, and that basically 100 men would easily fuck up a gorilla. And a gorilla has a lot of negatives attached to it. Like, yes, it's really, really strong, but it has like really bad cardio. So maybe the gorilla kills like 10 or 20 dudes on the way in, but at some point the gorilla is going to get really, really tired. My whole thing is like, you're going to need like 3 or 4 dudes on each arm, but then who's going to be the guy that just boom, like is in charge of like punching the gorilla in the face? Because I'm imagining the gorilla's skeleton, just the skull, just being like a brick wall. But I don't know.
Man, kick that motherfucker in the nuts. You feel me?
That's a good point. Claw its eyes out.
Bitch, you feel me?
That's a good point,
Claw
honestly.
them eyes out. Stump it to death, basically.
Yeah, but I think 100 is just, like evolutionarily, we are not that far apart from gorillas. So they might be like 4 times stronger than us, but 4 times is not that much when you got 100 dudes.
Yeah.
It's also a question, do you have
I don't feel like a gorilla could take a 50 rib shots from Adam. You feel me? Just standing there welling on that motherfucker.
I'm just so freaked out by the idea of even getting in such close proximity to a gorilla. Like, I mean, I'm grossed out by like a homeless dude.
They don't even be killing shit though. Have you ever heard of a gorilla killing anything?
Didn't they like kill people when they jump into the gorilla enclosure at the zoo and shit sometimes?
With Harambe you're referencing?
I am thinking about him, but he didn't kill that baby.
No.
They don't kill shit.
Yeah.
They don't even hunt. They eat. They're vegetarians.
Yeah. I mean, this conversation led me down the path of like, grizzly bears and hippos. Hippos and rhinos are actually like the most dangerous animals in the wild.
We know that.
Yeah. Which is...
We were just talking about that.
Picture 100 guys in a rhino.
We don't want to...
What the fuck you gonna do to a rhino? Think about how thick its skin is.
Yeah.
Like, you gonna punch a rhino?
That's a dinosaur, damn near.
It's got that horn. That horn is crazy, And then a hippo. I don't even know how a hippo would kill you, but hippo got it.
Man, hippos is treacherous.
Yeah. I interviewed Chuck Liddell the other day.
Really?
Yeah, and he was pretty passionate about this conversation. I think, I don't think you need 100 Chuck Liddells. You might need 100 Adam 22s to get through the gorilla.
No, mix it up. Give us 10 Chuck Liddells.
Yeah.
10 John Jones.
Exactly. You get the UFC heavyweights, like, damn, but that would suck to lose a bunch of UFC heavyweights just to take down one gorilla. Yeah, really, if that conversation leads you in any particular direction, it's like, thank God we have guns, so we don't have to fight these crazy, powerful animals on our own.
I think people mostly think about like King Kong and Planet of the Apes when they think about a gorilla killing 100 people.
I think most people haven't been to the zoo and realized that the gorilla, like, it might be super strong, but it's not that big compared to a man.
It's just the theory of...
I think we inflated in our head because nobody has ever fought a gorilla.
Or because of Hollywood, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Like, You just watch them in movies and you just assume they're worse than they actually
So
are.
I don't. What you think about her last one, Mike?
Which one?
With
The Missy Elliott beat, Work It.
Okay. Let me see if I'm talking about the correct one. Claire. Which one is?
I just did it with 4 shooters only.
Work
I
It.
dropped it about a week ago.
Yeah. Let me just make sure I'm thinking of the right one. Where'd you film this?
Downtown, Grand Circus.
Yeah, they came to Detroit.
Nice. No, yeah, I like this one. I think this shows some significant growth over some of the earlier stuff too, for sure.
Thank you.
Dan, do you think the one mic type or the hanging mic type stuff is like a big part of your success? Like,
Yeah, I would say so.
it's like the number one way to break an artist these days, it seems like.
I can't speak on other people, but it's definitely contributed to my success for sure.
There's just something about it. People don't want to click on a music video, but they'll click on a hanging mic. It just feels real to them.
Yeah, I wonder why. I haven't really thought about that, but
I don't know. Shout out AZ Productions because he invented that shit. And then he told me within a week, there was like 5 channels copying him,
yeah.
us included. It just kind of became like the status quo pretty quickly. All right. So you guys got anything else that we need to know about in regards to what's coming next from Clare and Helluva? You got any other artists that you're working with right now that you're excited about?
I got my nephew, D Rich. I pretty much work with the whole Detroit. Like, I work with anybody at least once, no matter what they come to me with. And I think that's one thing that I'm known for. But yeah, like her, D Rich, and I just work with so many people.
Definitely. No, I'm glad we got to sit down because you guys both got very important stories going on right now.
I was really excited.
Hell yeah. I'm glad I reached out. No, yeah. This is exciting stuff. I'm excited. Okay. Anything else you want to share with the people? You got a message?
I'm just about to keep dropping, so keep watching my shit. Go follow me, Clare Siobhan 313 on everything.
There it is.
I want to shout out my boy YS, my boy Verse, you know.
YS from out here?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's dope. How you know him?
That's my dog, like family.
Oh, yeah. That's what's up.
Never Stop Grinding Entertainment.
For sure.
My nigga Stack Boy TY gave me this fit.
Oh, shit. There you go.
I'm like, man, you gonna drop this bitch off? I'm about to wear your shit on no jumper. You pulled up on me.
That's dope. That's a good trump card. You got to drop the drip off at that point. All right. Yo, Clare, Helluva, thank you guys so much for a little bit of a history lesson and conversation about what's to come. I feel like you're going to have a big year.
Thank you, Adam.
For sure. No Jumper, coolest podcast. Like, comment, subscribe. We out.